Have there been moments in your life, when you have seen this conviction come to life? Perhaps it's perhaps a daily experience, when you are convinced about that, I don't depend on anything. I don't fear anything and I don't depend on anything other than God. And then things just happen in life.
It's been numerous moments, but the one that comes to mind, which I think then is the one I should share, is one that happened at Arunachala on my first visit. I climbed up Arunachala, which is quite a climb, and I went up barefoot, not wanting to put my shoes on this sacred mountain that's a very form of Shiva.
Yes.
And it was getting dark when I was coming down, and I had nothing with me, just clothes that was on my body. And so as I was coming down, what happened is my one leg went into spasm and I couldn't move, because every time I pressed my bare foot on the rock and the arch of my foot bent, the entire leg would go into spasm.
Oh my God.
And so, I'm on top of the mountain. It's getting dark. You shouldn't be on the top, but I can't move. So I sit down and I say, "Oh, Arunachala Siva, you're testing me, aren't you? If you will, I'll sleep in one of your caves like your sadhus tonight. Show me a cave." And so as I pull myself around the rock to look for a place to actually sit because I can't move, suddenly there's 2 pairs of sandals lying there, exactly my size, precisely my size. The moment I put it on, all the pain disappears and I walk down.
All the pain disappears?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I walk down. But exactly my size, placed there. There's no one else on top of the mountain. I'm the last one coming down. If he can provide a pair of shoes on top of a mountain for you, what else do you need to fear, But even my whole journey here, from the family I'm staying with to just his daily provisions for me, is an undoubted affirmation that if you give yourself completely to me, I am with you. I am with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Seek the kingdom of God and everything else shall be added unto you.
Absolutely. I love that verse, because that's exactly what Jesus invites us to. Seek the kingdom and all the other secondary things will take care of themselves. We're so focused on this material body and the needs of this material body. But I am not the body. I am not the body. We so focus on the mind and entertaining the mind. But I am not the mind. I am that pure Atma that comes from the divine fire. I, you, every single human being, in fact, every animated thing in this planet is a spark from the divine fire.
Yes.
That's who I am. And that's what the journey is about, is the spark returning to that fire.
Yes.
When that realization takes place, the other mundane things the embodiment have taken will take care of itself.
Baba, when someone questioned Baba, "Are you God?" he said, "Yes, I am God, but you too are God." And I believe there is something to that effect told by Jesus also.
Yes, he asked them, they were persecuting him, and he asked, "For which of the many things I've said do you persecute me?" And they said, "You as a mortal man, we persecute you for this, that you as a mortal man claim to be God." And he turned to them and said, "But is it not written that ye are also gods? That you are also gods? Is it not written?" Exact thing. And what Jesus again is affirming is that each human being is made in the image of God. That in the deepest parts of us resides divinity. In fact, one of our great saints, Augustine, said, God became man when Jesus took the incarnation, that man may become God.
Yes.
You see? That man may realize, humans may realize their true nature. Their true nature.
I think God.
The thing is, we all are caught in this veil of Maya, the great illusion. And it's about stripping away of these layers, these illusory layers that are over us, and starting to perceive divinity.
And at the Vedantic level, as you said, everything is the same. You have done a research work on Vedanta, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote my postgraduate thesis on Hindu-Christian meeting points and did a brief study of Vedanta for that thesis. But it's a continuous study of mine.
But what were those profound things that you discovered in this study?
Well, it was simply some of the similarities between Advaita and Jesus' teaching of non-duality and oneness, like when he says the Father and I are one. And to understand the teaching of Jesus from that point of view, I think that was one of the profound experiences just while writing the thesis, is you read something one of the Vedantic masters said and you go, oh, that sounds familiar. Where have I read it before? Yes. It's in the Bible, Yes. It's there.
So you might have unearthed many things like this.
Well, a few things, but it's a constant process. I'm constantly finding that similarity, between the teachings of Christ. Even, in Gita, again, going back to the verse, I am the way, the truth, and the life. At the end of Gita, does Krishna not say to Arjuna, love me? Serve me, and that also can be interpreted in a very exclusive sense. Correct. But the spirit of India would not allow that,
It says, Karishe vachanam tava, you follow what I say.
Same thing. But what is Krishna pointing to? He's pointing to the universal message of Gita. What is Jesus pointing to? The universal message of the gospel when they make these statements. Because at that point, they are embodying the full mystery.
Yes. At different points of time, depending on the time and context, God comes down in one form to just deliver the same message, to sort of remind us of the same message.
And then to say, this only is God, or this revelation only is the true revelation of God, it makes God so small, to limit him in that way.
I know.
He's beyond anything, God can't fit into any religion. He's bigger than any religion. I always say that God does not wake up on a Sunday and go to church. He doesn't wake up on a Monday and go to temple, or on a Friday and go to mosque. God has no religion. He's beyond that. He is the ever wakeful one, watching over all his children at all times and beating in every heart at the same time. This is divinity. And it's all pulsating with divine love.
As Baba always says, there's only one religion. That is the religion of love.
You see, the religions for me are a signpost. They're a signpost pointing to divinity. Sometimes we stop at the signpost rather than going to where the signpost is pointing. So it's like me seeing a sign in Bangalore saying Puttaparthi. And then I stop at the sign and I say, oh, I've arrived in Puttaparthi. How wonderful it is to be in Puttaparthi. And that's what happens with religions. Is we stop at the religion and we say, oh, we've arrived. This is it. But no, the religion and the masters are the signposts pointing to the non-dual reality, to the oneness of divinity.
Yes. In fact, if you look at the most recent religion, Islam, I think the philosophy of Islam is so non-dualistic. Allah, which is the concept of the infinite one without a form, I think that is what everything actually is leading. In one sense, when I look at it, you had these religions which are sort of taking you on that path of understanding the formless, which is actually the ultimate. But you need something to hold on to reach there. You need some symbol to reach there. So you have all these other religions. The latest religion has that ultimate truth, and that has come in such a. I mean, it comes not in the deep scriptures. When it comes on the face, but unfortunately, I think that is not understood in that light.
Because we are so bound to the five senses, we have to use the five senses to enter into the internal experience of God. So we need to see something. We need to see a murti. We need to see the Kaaba. We need to see a cross. We need to hear some divine music. We need to taste communion, prasadam. We need to smell the agrabatti, so all of these things that are happening to the five senses awaken us to something that's beyond the senses. And that's
You
the
need
reason
something
for
to hold
all
on.
of that. Yeah. And even Islam, at the level of Sufism,
Oh, yes.
as these wonderful mystical universal expressions of
Absolutely.
God. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Saint Rabia. She's a Sufi saint. There's one episode of hers that always moves me. She was running through the street one day with fire in one hand and water in the other hand. And people said, "Oh, Rabia, what are you doing?" She says, "With this fire, I want to set heaven alight. And with this water, I want to quench the fires of hell." And then she looked up, lost in ecstasy, and she said, oh God, if I serve you out of the hope of inheriting heaven, then do not give it to me. If I serve you out of the fear of hell, then burn me in it. But if I serve you for you alone, then do not withhold your eternal beauty from me. And I think true religion brings us to that level of bhakti. It's not about the promises of heaven and hell.
Yes.
It's not about these dualities, these opposites. It's about you and you alone. It's about this oneness. And when that oneness happens, that awakening happens, the opening of the third eye, and I see that, that's what I'm aiming for, And then, Lord, do not hold your eternal beauty from me. Reveal it to me,
Love for love's sake alone.
That's it.
Why God loves us. You should love God for the same reason why He loves us.
Absolutely. And I only love, I even don't have the ability to love except through His love touching me,
In fact, Baba used to say that, the only thing God expects from us is this love. And He says, even that is given to you by God.
Yes, that itself is grace, that when the love of the divine, it's always present. It's not like it's not here and then suddenly it's there. It's always present. Every atom in the universe is filled with this divine presence. It's just that we haven't awoken to it, So that famous mantra, Satoma Satkameya, lead us from untruth to truth. Let the awakening, from the unreal to the real, from death to life.
Light.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Father, for taking your time and sharing this beautiful insights. I know there is so much more that you can share. And ending this discussion on this note that, oh Lord, lead us from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. I think that is something for us to contemplate upon and realize the unity of divinity and the commonality of all the paths.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.